Hey, what's up guys and gals? My name is Rick9G. Let's get started and talk about some flying. Now, if this is the first time you've ever seen any of my videos or stumbled upon my videos and you want to take a look at the journey in getting your private pilot's license, go ahead and start with video number 1. That's my first introductory flight to flying, because this is pretty deep into my journey. But I do want to let you know that I want to make a different type of video. And that's because since the last time I made a video, that one focused on the run-up and basically what it means to just warm up the plane and make sure all the systems are working and so forth. It's been a while since I have actually made a video. Now, I have brought cameras with me, sometimes not, and that's for many different reasons. So I do want to talk a little bit about that and why and so forth. If you think that getting a private pilot's license is very smooth, that you'll do it like consistently, it's just not going to happen. And let me tell you why. Unless you go to a school where you sit down Monday through Friday and do this for a month nonstop pretty much, and there's a dedicated plane for you, and they can guarantee that there's no maintenance issues, well, you'll still have weather. And I'm living in one of the best places in the world for weather, sunny Los Angeles, California. And I can tell you that even then we have issues. We had really bad fires, if you noticed in the news a few weeks ago. It's all good now and everything, but we had a no-fly zone over the entire training area, Malibu, Thousand Oaks, the south area close to LAX, and the flight path right after departure after my airport, Santa Monica Airport, for a few weeks. And so there was really no way you could depart that way. You had to really make a tight turn and go the other way. And so a lot of things were not able to be done. So that's just a part of it. That is just a part of flying, something people have to get used to. So when a lot of people say, well, I'm going to do it in 2 months, well, that's probably not the realistic thing. Maybe it's a good goal, but it's probably not really realistic. And so again, I've done a few solos here and there, bringing the camera, sometimes not. And that can be hard because cameras aren't really distracting. I place them and they are suction cupped or they're in different strategic places. However, sometimes they are distracting in the sense of they'll turn off and I want them on. And so it's one of those things where you constantly have to balance everything. And so I just want to give that heads up to you. For example, I took a trip from Santa Monica Airport all the way to Santa Barbara and back. That is 85 miles one way, so 85 miles, 85 miles. We have about 170 miles round trip. And I didn't really put the camera on what I did. And so there was a lot going on there. Flying to Santa Barbara, I mean, you're going into different airspaces, you're flying over different airports, different areas, at least that I'd never seen before. And so you have to kind of be sharp. I'm sure as I get more into flying, it'll be easier. But I was just so focused, and the last thing on my mind was camera. So I just want you to keep that in mind. But I will show you snippets here and there. But what I decided to do, this is my logbook. In case you don't know, what we do in the logbook is we have all of our hours logged in here. Whether we fly by ourselves, where we fly to, what plane, all that is in this logbook. And it's filled out, as you can see, signed by my instructor whenever I go with my instructor. However, when I fly by myself, you'll see here, for solo, I may do a video just on the logbook. Let me know if you'd like to see that. Then I fly pilot in command. And those are separate hours, PIC hours versus dual received, which is like you're flying dually, or yeah, with 2 people. And so yeah, I've the last flight that I had, I'm just gonna go through all of them. There are roughly 10 of them, somewhere in there. But I just want to quickly just go through them and give you an idea, maybe throw in a couple video snippets here and there. But I want you to know that I have been flying throughout the highs and the lows with between fires and maintenance issues, weather cancellations, haze, all that. We have all that. I'm supposed to fly to Santa Barbara tomorrow, but who knows? It's 8 a.m. flight. Who knows if the haze will be thick? If it's thick, I can't fly. It's just how it is. And then maybe have to be delayed because the holidays are coming up, and so another week, and that's just how it happens. So once we get to the third solo, what we did, or what I did by myself, I did 4 patterns. So that is rectangular patterns around the airport. Basically, you take off, you make, at least at this airport, you make a left turn into the crosswind, you make another left turn into the downwind, another left turn into the base, and your final is your last left turn. So it's rectangular circuits like this. And I did 4 of those with the right 360. But the unique thing about this one, I have 15 knot winds, which is really interesting. And you should say, well, why were you flying in that? It wasn't like that. It was around 10, I think, which was at the minimum of what my instructor said I could do. But then they got very strong and I had no choice but to stop. I would have done more patterns. Last time I did 7 once. That was my maximum that I was able to do. So 4, so I could have done more, but that was something to keep in mind. Then we move on. I did the 4th solo, and that one included 3 patterns. Now the problem here was that there were lower light clouds. I remember this day, and what that was, it was fairly clear, but then all of a sudden as I started going up, because remember, we're very close to the ocean, to the beach, started seeing these low clouds just coming in very quickly, to the point of after my 2nd pattern, I was like, whoa, these are kind of covering it started blanketing the area around the airfield. And so that was something where I had to, you know, just come in and call it a day. I had a lot smoother touchdowns according to this, but I had no camera with me. I just wanted to focus, and I think that was valuable in and of itself. Because remember, the number one is, of course, to learn and to focus on being a safe pilot. Okay, my next flight, I went with my instructor, Sam, and we did more practicing. It's been a while since I'd done power on stalls, power off stalls. We did more radio work. We diverted to Van Nuys, which is about 15 miles away, which is great. We did some go-arounds there. I remember that one. There was a disoriented pilot on one runway, and they had to divert most of the traffic, let no one land. There was also a jet coming in that decided not to land. They did a go-around, and so they polluted the whole runway with wake turbulence, and we had to just leave. It was pretty crazy. But yeah, it was a really fun flight. The flight after that was really cool. I went with my instructor, but this time we went to Burbank, and Burbank is the first airport that I'd been to, at least at this time, with actual jets. There were 737 Southwest jets landing on the same runway that we were landing on. We were preparing to take off, and then a big jet comes in right above us and lands right in front of us. Very, very cool and very unique as well. We also did short field landings and takeoffs too. All right. Then we had our next flight, which was a cross-country flight. We don't really fly across country. That means just beyond a certain distance. This was 85 miles one way to Santa Barbara Airport. And they have jets and things like that there. They have commercial planes. And then back. It's 1 hour roughly there. We landed, pretty much got to the runway and back again. So that's what we did. Then I flew by myself the next flight. I did 3 takeoffs, 3 landings. My goal at this time was to go to Malibu. Malibu's an area very close by, where it's our training area. However, there was a lot of haze. Like as soon as I went up, I remember that it was just, my area was okay, but going at 10-ish miles off to the side where Malibu is, 10 to 20 miles out, you just see like a blanket of haze, and it was just not smart to fly into that. And so I didn't do much, because again, that was something, but I didn't go to Malibu and come back like I wanted to do. Then the next flight, I did my first solo to Malibu. It was really fun, really exciting, a little scary, but not as scary as I thought, because I felt it wasn't that much of a jump. I had already gone to Santa Barbara, so with my instructor, but this didn't seem that much because I'd been there for so long of a time, and I just turned around and came back, and so it was fairly simple. But there was still haze, and then I did one more pattern, and I only did one more again because of the weather. We had a lot of haze, and this was around the October time. Then we did another Malibu solo, but this one was pretty good because I got 3 patterns in as well, and I did a little bit of work there, and it's just fun to be able to go out distances and then come back to the airport, which is something I never felt, but once you do that, it's just really exciting. Then my next flight, we did 4 more patterns for that. That was by myself. I note here that my 3rd landing was very smooth. I would even say perfect, and that's very rare that I use words like that to describe how I fly. But it was just one of those things where it was just like in the zone and perfection, at least for me. The problem was this was when the fires were kind of happening, or at least starting, or where they weren't that bad, so I was okay to fly at this time. or it was just coming off of the fires, just around that time. But I wanted to go to my first airport by myself, which is Van Nuys, but I couldn't just because of fires. It was just not smart to go out that far. I could stay local though. Then my next flight, I went with my instructor. This time we went again to Van Nuys. I wanted to go by myself. He's like, no, it's been a while since you've been out, so I'll go with you. We did emergency procedures, we did loss procedures, and he just made sure that I was just keeping up with that. And then we come to my last flight over here, and that I went to Malibu, and I did a lot more things. I did actual stalls, power off stalls, power on stalls. I did them multiple times. I did each, I don't know, a handful of times, and did sharp turns and did steep turns and did a lot of really cool stuff, right? And I had traffic avoidance. I had a Cessna that was close to 500 feet above me coming perpendicular to me, and I get the traffic advisory from ATC, Air Traffic Control, and I notice him right when he starts his turn away from me. But I was warned, I just didn't see him, but then I noticed he was right above me, so it was really cool to see that. A little scary to think that, you know, I can get that close, but it's just something where if you just focus, it's okay. So hopefully you enjoyed this. I'm going, like I said, hopefully if everything works out, to my Santa Barbara flight. I may have some footage for you guys and gals. Thank you so much for following me on this journey and for enjoying this. Let me know if you like more of the sit-down talk or more of flying. Remember, I'm getting to the point where I'm flying more and more by myself. I'm going to be doing my solo cross countries fairly soon, and so I want to bring you along a lot of straight flying and so forth. But I think it's good because once in a while I could chat, I could talk, and I don't know, it would be really cool to have you see me go on my cross country. We'll see you next time, guys and gals. Thank you so much again for the support, and don't forget to stay positive and most importantly, be hopeful.